tonight on the 999 ASMR Tarot Show, and we are going to do some practice paintings for trees. And I just want to begin with just a brief moment of silence for our nation and for the tragic event that happened yesterday with the political violence against a former president of the United States. And we want to ask Lord God to pour your love and peace over this whole nation and over the whole world, to heal those wounds of division, the wounds that divide us one from another, brother against sister, nation against nation. We are all one people. We are one people. And help us to know that truth. Amen. Well, we are going to start with some painting. And for TSR Games, I think your name was Thomas, if I remember right. Thank you for coming back. And last night we did, thank you. Last night we did, I made paper mache. And this was something I did. I made a mistake last night in mixing the paper mache glue too heavy on the water. Yes, I remembered right, Thomas. And so it is very delicate. So, but I dried it out. So I've been learning here a lot about paper mache. But what we're going to be doing is tree practice, painting trees. Because soon I'm going to paint this canvas here. This is 24 inches from this tip to this tip, and it is 6 inches wide. So it's a 24 by 6 inch canvas. And I'm going to paint a tree scene, a single tree on this in a background. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. But what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to do some practice on paper. I have these papers with these different perspectives so we can get an idea of doing that. So when you are painting, it is good to do a lot of practice in order to gain that perspective that you need. And so in this exercise, we're going to be using these colors. And so it is yellow oxide and primary yellow, cadmium red, and this is just a phthalo blue, which is Bob Ross's favorite color to use, and Hooker's green, and titanium white. And so if I need to make brown, I just mix these two colors together, and I can get brown. And as always, I have a little bit of black on the side. And these are the brush types that I'm going to be using. This one here is for me is a butter brush, and to do sky and clouds, it is these brushes here. Now this here is a watercolor brush, so when we Bob, yeah, thanks. I got to work on my Bob Ross voice. And then, as I say, this is a watercolor brush. and we may use this, we probably won't. And this is a fan brush that I cut down, and I'm going to be using this mostly for downstrokes in making tree branches. And I have some just other brushes, and I will also be using this brush type here for tree branches. So this was a full-size brush that was cut down. I didn't do the cutting. I bought it that way. So without much further ado, we're going to get crack-a-lacking here. I usually take Mondays off of all social media, and I generally start my weekend like Sunday afternoon. But today since I had a family reunion yesterday, I was anyway, I didn't know if the relatives were still going to be here today, so I didn't schedule anything for this afternoon like my regular Sunday Write Lab. So this is old paint. I'm going to pull that off. And for that, we'll just use this yellow oxide. Okay, that's okay. I think that you don't have to. You can just sit and watch. And I will, I may do a bunch of silence as well. And I'll use my voice, my Bob Ross voice, whenever possible. And a little blue. I don't really know that I'm going to use that much blue here, but we'll just, oh, I guess it's there now. That just really just pooped on right on out. Huh? Okay, and then I'll put the green over here. We're going to use quite a bit of that. Yeah, okay. So I think for starters, I'm just going to burn this piece of paper up and do, I'm going to run trees on this perspective. I'm going to put this someplace else. And I've showed this off before too. This was a paper mache creature that I made a week ago, Saturday, and painted it in daytime art. Well, hello, Dark Uncle. Welcome to Tree Night. So I'm going to start with this brush here, and we're going to mix up some brown. Oh, I need some water. We have to. This is acrylic paint. Oh shit! I've got water on my. I don't want that water on my canvas quite yet, but that's okay. Hello and welcome. So we're going to make up some brown here. You mix that red in with green, and red and green make brown. So right now it's more like the color of like iron ore. But if we just add a smidge of black in it, we can change it more to that brown color, like color of a tree trunks and so forth. I have some lavender here. My aunt gave it to me at the family reunion yesterday, and so it's kind of nice. So I can also use this in order to see what color green and just do some comparisons for green. And I have some other items like here. This actually came right off of a tree as well, actually during the spring when they were still blooming. And so So, and so if we could take a look at that, this color here is pretty similar to this one. And so we have tree colors. And so I'm going to want this to run it a lot thinner for doing trunks and so forth, because the thinner you get the paint, the straighter you can make the lines. And it took me years to figure out the water thing, because when I first started out, I did the paint just straight out of the tube, and it was just really heavy and gloopy. And so we'll just do some trunks here. So let's say if we're going to do like a fir tree, there's a couple different ways that you can do to do them to get the shape. There's like the basic ways, and then not so basic ways. So let's just start with just a couple different little trees here. Happy trees. So come down straight like that. And then if we were to wanted to do a like maybe a bush with a bunch of different branches, you can do it like that, and make something looking like that. This looks more like a weed anyways, but that's okay. And so we used to say it's a weed, and then you're gonna take your green and you're gonna tone it down with some primary yellow to make it just a little bit less heavy green. And then you can add some titanium white in there as well, and it does the same thing. So, this is all gloopy and so forth, but maybe it has some, some stuff going on. It's over there. And maybe we want to come and add a different coloring in, so we'll just shift over to a different brush and get it to do some different things. Kind of stippling here. So this is in a sense is clearly in the department of a brush or a piece of shrub, or it doesn't really matter, because it's whatever your imagination takes you, because that's really the important thing. You're working on opening up your mind, opening up your imagination. Well, thank you, X Shade. These are my hands. They I've always called them ladies' hands because I have small hands for a man, and if you've ever read any James Herriot novels, James Herriot, the veterinary, he had small ladies' hands, which he called them, and if you're a vet, then ladies' hands are necessary for delivering babies from like cows and goats and sheep and animals. And so small hands are a huge asset on a man who is a large animal veterinary. And X Shade, and welcome to paint night. We're just practicing is what we're doing tonight, just doing a lot of practicing, and yeah, hello again, Thomas. So kind of making some, not in here, making some flowers and so forth. I can probably come in and take some of this rust color here and add that into it as well. the stippling, and you know, it helps to go out and outside and just look and spend time outside looking at nature and to see what nature offers up. And then other than these things that I have over here, I actually have no examples that I'm going by. I'm going completely out of my imagination here. And making this shrub up here, yeah. And maybe we want to take and make some some different just kind of fill it out a bit. Just kind of make it look more happy. Happy hands. Happy trees. And you know, when you do look out in nature, there's a lot of plants that are like green plants that are like grasses that have reds in them like this. They're not red like this. They are toned down reds, more kind of like this color. That's a little bit dark, but there's a lot of toned down reds in grassy like shrubs and so forth anyways. And so if we come now, and I'm going to come out, and I better take the paint off these brushes if I'm not using them, because then, so if you were going to do, let's say, a fir tree, for instance, and in the actual, I mean, you'd think that, you know, you just kind of do this, but if you're looking at like trees in the distance, one of the things that you might see when you do fir trees is that the branches actually go up. It kind of goes up like this. And this is really, of course, an oversimplification. But there's a temptation to do fir trees. I'm going to make this green a lot darker. We're going to take some of this and put it in there and darken it up a bit. And there's a huge temptation when you're doing fir trees is to do just this, to do this. And you know, when you look at it from afar, this is exactly what it looks like. I have trouble doing the backstroke on this because for some reason my hands don't like to. But so, I mean, that's really simple, but really this is the structure of how fir trees are. And so then you might want to come up and add that green back in. So like that. And that looks more like a Christmas tree right here. And then one of the things that I like to do a lot is, and I do this with much smaller trunks than this, and just come through and I just stipple like this. And so this is my basic tree practice here. Of course, that's a shrub. And that's kind of what I do. But I do that on a much smaller scale. So I'm going to first go back and we're going to do a tree scene that is in this vertical format. I don't have a whole lot of space here, so I think I'm going to start with the sky. I'm going to make a background of a sky. And I'm going to use white, titanium white. I'm going to use this blue. And I'm going to tone it way down. So it's still, this is a really an unnatural shade of, and if you're still here in the chat, you might, don't forget to like and sub to my channel if you like what I see. Or just the very least, just like the video for the algorithm's case. It's feeding the algorithm. And so we're just going to put in some texture here. And when you kind of hammer the stuff in, it is rather random, but you're looking at making a background for clouds. And I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to waste out all of that titanium white. And so you can see that you get a little bit of different tonal shades here when you do this. And you can kind of, if you're looking at this from a long ways away, you can kind of see how it does, how it looks like. Of course, you will never see this in nature, but that doesn't really matter because you're looking at this in your imagination. So it's a question is how far down do I want to bring the clouds? And I think just for this exercise, I'm going to bring it all the way down, pretty much all the way down. And we're going to be looking at this tree, a single tree coming up, and it's like you're coming from, coming up on a hillside, and you're walking in the woods, and you're walking up towards the, just the peak of the hill, and what you see beyond it is just, there's a drop off beyond, but you're not seeing it. You're just seeing just the big sky ahead of you. And that's kind of that's kind of the feeling I'm trying to go for here. But I need more white. I don't want to use any other colors, because if I use any yellow or anything like that, it's just going to turn it green. And so if we, so that's, just kind of texturing out. But we might do is a tad, just a small, minute amount of black. And I don't really want to use very much black though. So I think I'm going to use something like a palette knife to pull it out of the container. And I really just want just a little bit, just a tad bit. And actually, probably what's even on this palette knife is more than what I want to use at all. So just going to put a little water on here, and just a small amount. I don't want, like I say, I don't want too much. And so we're coming over here, and just up here, just a little bit of black. I'm going to put this in here, coming up here this way. Then we're going to come back in with this and the white and blend it in. Just kind of want to add just a little bit of depth to the sky. Maybe we'll just do a little bit more in here. Different cloud patterns just moving in. I apologize that I don't have as much space on here as I need in order to show everything to you. But we'll come back over here, do some more blue, pick up some more of the heavier blue. Just a bit here. Of course, in doing this, it does sometimes feel like you're going to ruin the painting, because I often feel that way sometimes, that I'm over coloring it. But one of the things about doing it in this manner, where you are tapping the color in there, is that sometimes you can get random patterns in there that look just like the random patterns that you see up in the sky, like bunny rabbits and other such shapes. I guess this is the way it's going to be. Coming down here and just bringing out more of it down to here, clear down to the base. Just get that image of, you're walking up the hill and you just see a big giant sky, big sky. Now what we could do is do a tad bit of red in there. So there we have it. That's kind of just the start. That's the start of it. I need to clean off the brushes because I'm not going to use this one probably again tonight. I might use it again. I don't know. Going into this one, taking the black out. All right, and so I'm just going to put these over here. Oh, as a reminder, if you're just coming in, to like and sub to my channel if possible. If you don't want to, that's fine. All right, now I got the black there, so we're going to use that. I'm going to use, like say it's practice. I'm going to do a snag. House of the Rising Sun playing in my head. I don't know why that is. Who's that song by? It sounds almost familiar. Let's go with my brown over here. Maybe we'll add a little of this literal black to it this time. make up some House of the Rising Sun. That rust color, making that brown. Red and green make brown. Add maybe a little bit of this white to it. I'm probably only going to get to one of these tonight. So I'm thinking like it's an old snag. Because usually, you know, when you're going up to one of those hills, that's kind of what you see anyway. Oftentimes you see an old burnt out snag. And so where you live, Thomas, is that all flatland? Or do you live in like rolling hill territory? So if I remember right, you are going to be a farmer when you are a farmer. You do you work in. Remember, you said you lived in the middle of the country, Wisconsin, I think is what you said. That was like a couple weeks ago, but. But kind of bigger at the base. It's got a little green in it, so because it's not like completely burned out all the way. You might have a little zone in it where off over here to the side, there was a fire, and part of the tree has perished, but you know that trees do have this ability to regenerate, and out of an old burnt out snag comes new life. So I don't know who it is by, but I do know some of the lyrics that it is like. The first verse, I believe, is "There is a house in New Orleans." Oh, you know, I think that's like, is that like an 80s pop song or something? Kind of move it in here, a little bit of water. I'm gonna move this up here, kind of like that. Kind of burnt like that, and then I'm gonna come back in here. And if you look at it, it's kind of, and you've seen one of these kind of trees anyway, that you look at and you can see right through it, see right into the blue sky. And that's kind of just nice effect here. So, and then where this tree is starting to regenerate is sort of up here. I want this to look a little bit more realistic, but I'll just come through with a different brush. I'm just sort of blocking the colors in here. Coming over here. And okay, so it's here, hilly. So it's hilly there, and so that's why the German settlers came in. So then, being that it's hilly, then you would have seen a scene like this in your head if you'd ever walked up a hill and you saw a burnt out snag, and you look at, you're just walking up the hill, and you see this tree just jutting up, and you see the sky just right behind it. And that's kind of just the scene that we're looking at here. Maybe we'll put in here some reds. We'll just blend these reds right into it. Bob Ross used what they call a wet on wet painting method. I've never painted with oils, but this is kind of some of the stuff that he's doing when he's painting his scenes. But of course he's using a palette knife, and I, at this point in my painting career, have not really used a palette knife that much for painting. So how does that look? You got the little reds in there. It's kind of different layers of the colors. And I think we're going to come down to a narrower brush. I'm going to go back to this brush here. Just kind of to coming over here just to, I want to push that color in a little bit better. I got too much water in here now. Okay, so Vietnam era, so it's like 70s. It's like right around the time that I'm being born is when that song you're thinking about is. Because I was born in the late 60s. It's going to be adding this in here. I like that shade of that red coming in here. It's kind of adding to the effect of it. And then we're going to just come in here with a lot more of this green. Makes it more brown. But I think what I want with this is a single branch that's just coming out here. And the single branch is, I'm going to use a little pinpoint thing, and I'm going to start with some of this yellow over here. Actually, no. I'm going to take this branch, and we are going to make... I haven't used any of this oxide. I'm going to come off and bring some so this isn't really a fir tree, but maybe it was. It's got some other distant branches coming. Maybe it's like an old oak or an old ash tree. Ash trees grow tall and straight. It's a little bit crowded over here, but new branches do grow and look like, let's add a little bit more browns into it. Kind of just the happy trees. Happy trees. House of the Rising Sun. And then maybe over here, need more water. I want thinner lines. It doesn't have to be exact. Just getting a sense that there's new life growing off this old snag. All right, I'll be on probably till midnight my time, so I'll be on for like another 45 minutes. Casey Chirp, paint a spider at night, please. Paint a spider in the night. Is spider in the night a specific painting type? Right now, Casey Turp, I'm painting trees. Was what I'm doing. So 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 it was actually a more of a folk song, but not oh, 1933. So it's an older song. Oh, way older. Hmm. I think this is almost complete. Even a few white highlights in the front. Blend it in. So you subscribe to me, Casey Turp. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, maybe a little yellows in here too. Kind of shoring up different colors. It has some highlights. Maybe the sun is behind you. And you can see those sun highlights coming on. Maybe the sun's just rising behind you. Well, no, it wouldn't be. The sky wouldn't be that blue if the sun was rising behind you. But just want to kind of fill in a little bit, add just a little bit of depth to it by putting some highlights on the front side here. maybe a little bit of white, very little bit, blending in. So it's not exactly a masterpiece, but it is something. But you know, I think to top this off, I'm going to put just some little birds off in the distance. Off in the distance. Flying over there. A couple over here. They usually kind of come in threes. Unless you're looking at like geese. Geese which fly in groups of 2 because they pair for life. Maybe another one just kind of over here. Just over there. That doesn't work out right. It's a big bird. Looks like a flying mustache. Oh well, it's what it is. And maybe on here, just a few highlights. And I'm going to tone this down to gray on the burnt out side. Just a little bit of coming down here. Just a little bit of that shining yellow in there. The sun's coming up this way. You're seeing just a little bit of the sun reflected off on it. Faint hints of that. So that's all I'm going to do on this. It's just a practice painting, just like I said. I'm going to shift gears over to this mask, and I did this last night, but I need to shore it up just a little bit. The paper mache had not, it was didn't have enough. Oh, thank you. I'm going to add a little of this Elmer's glue onto this just to give it some more strength. I made a clay out of a paper clay with the paper mache glue. And so we're just going to add this Elmer's glue on here to get it more strength. More strength. Strong with the paint he is. Yeah. Yeah. So did you watch one of my paper mache videos, Thomas? Or have you just seen all of my paint nights? I guess that one's too full up. I'm going to add more glue onto that. Just to get this to have the strength it needs to have. Just to There's many uses of glue. And so now I need to get that glue off my fingers. I probably should have done that last, but oh well, we did it this way. My fingers are sticky now. So I'm gonna do a card. A4 scene on a card here. Sky. We're going to start with the sky. Just going to scrub that color in. Just how doesn't necessarily matter. And then take some of the white, putting that white in there. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. It's kind of got a little bit that, maybe with some red highlights. Okay, I'm gonna dry this up just a bit before I go to red highlights. Okay, I'm going to use a different brush. Kind of red, red down at the horizon. Oh, looks, it's got green in there too. Well, I guess that's what it is. It's a unnatural sky. Maybe it's totally unnatural sky. But you know what? It's wherever your imagination takes you. That's the important thing. And I'm going to come back in here with that white and just bring it down, bring it in. I need more white. Well, yeah, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Random Guy. I'm just some random guy on YouTube. And this is a sky that you'll never ever see in nature. Kind of a whirlwind. Actually, you might if it's a storm coming in, but I think maybe we'll just do some happy banging clouds here. Cookie 97, nice to meet you. I'm Random Guy. Just some random guy on YouTube painting trees and skies and whatnot tonight on this Sunday evening at 11 o'clock. Okay, that looks like crap, but you know what? It doesn't matter, does it? It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. We're going to do some trees like I did before. All right. Let's get cracking. So, has anybody ever watched Steve MRE before? What? I was watching one of those Steve MRE videos the other night, and he was eating a military ration from like the World War II era. Okay, you change your name? Cookie 97. All right. All right, let's go. Let's see here. You know, I do all of these cards the same way, but similar. I think this one is just going to be a whole bunch of trees. I'll probably send it to a friend of mine. She still sends me actual letters. Maybe I should send it to my aunt as a thank you note for all the good things that she's done and helping my family out. Okay, well, this has got a leaner tree. And let's do a couple trees off in the distance that are, this is just your standard dense forest thing. Just a couple that are just very faint, kind of right off in the distance. And maybe just another one right here. And then maybe over here, another faint one in the distance. And another one over here. Okay. And so we're going to go back and do some stippling. But for the ones in the distance, I think we're going to make those more like this brown color. And okay, you guys are chatting to yourself and having a great time. I'm just making trees. Trees off in the distance. Tall trees, short trees, far away trees. But I'm just trying to show how simple it is to do this. Maybe one with this regular forest green here. How fast and simple these trees can be formed. And I think that with this one here, I'm just going to do this one. Make that a nice brown tree. Maybe we'll add some yellow highlights to it. There we go. And sometimes I like to go in here and make some more red trees. I'm not doing anything really. Now this one here actually looks like something you see out in the forest. We'll add some that. Coming there. Just soft strokes like that. I want to make it a bit bigger. Just a bit more. We'll come in here with that yellow. As a clone of Bob Ross, I'm not really trying to clone Bob Ross. Bob Ross is more like a painting hero of mine. How about that? And Bob Ross paints in a totally different medium than I do. He paints in oils, and did I tell you the last time that Bob Ross was a retired Marine Corps drill sergeant? Your mom was in the Air Force? No, you never said that, but I know my father was in the Army. He was in a missile corps. He was um, he was in during the Vietnam era. And when was your mom in? How long was your mom in for? Did she just like spend did she retire from the military, or did she just spend like 4 years? Hmm. Hmm. And I think with this one over here, it's gonna be like this leaning pile of like an old dead tree, just kind of hanging out there. I got this one here. Mm-hmm. There we go. Then we just have like one more. And I think with this one, my paint's starting to dry out. It's still really rather hot out. So I want to tone down this green a lot. I think I'll add some white to it as well. And we're going to make this design here. It actually almost looks like it's just blowing in the wind. Well, you can go in the military if you want. So, yeah, if you want to go into the military, Kooky, you can do that. And there we go. Now we're just gonna oh. Well, you can go in the military, the National Guard between the junior and senior years in high school. Let's do the finishing touches here. Adding to the forest floor. We're still kind of in that mode of where you're walking up the hill, or you're seeing this stand of trees. Maybe we'll have some bushes here. This is where this watercolor brush comes in handy. You can come in here and make some bushes. Oh. Okay. You're not going on to high school? Or you're going on to high school? Yeah. High school can be pretty rough. And we'll just kind of okay, well, there we are. It just needs some birds. Maybe we need some grasses in it and just fill in the foreground just a tad bit. Oh, Albanian, and you want some words in English? Kind of making some shrubs kind of in the foreground just to fill it in, and maybe some reds. You need some help practice with English. Yeah, well, you probably shouldn't really. You might go back and detract your ages and so forth. And it's kind of filling it in. It's all rather random. Hmm. Hmm. Well, you seem like a very kind person, TSR Games, Thomas. You're very... I'm being over here and kind of filling in the foreground and the background at the same time. See, so there we are. Maybe do a little bit of since it's... I'm gonna sign it down here. I'm gonna do one more of these, then I'm gonna call it a night. Um, 2024, and got the birds flying in. The geese are flying in. They fly in pairs of twos because they mate for life and as pairs. Of course, this winter I just saw, last winter I saw a kind of a lone geese, one, which means it had lost its mate. And maybe another one just over here. And so there we go. Here's the scene. And this kind of folds over like this. And it is a greeting card, a blank card. I'm going to put that over here. And we'll just do another one. I want a little bit of a different sky this time. I'm going to pull another brush out. And I'm going to do a more of a pink, more pinky color. So it makes it more crisper. A lot more white. Kind of like that cold, wintry, crisp kind of a tone. Some high clouds. That. And some more of this in the white. Some wisp of the blue. Kind of just look in there. It looks like a real kind of a... So your mom spent 4 years in the military, and your godfather was in the Marines, and so you have a lot of family that's just been in the military. I mean, I have family was in the military too. My father, my uncle was in the Air Force, and he saw lots of UFOs because he was in radar. Okay, so it's a nice stratified sky. I think we're going to do a single. I just need to get up. My legs are getting stiff. Old legs. Old legs. I want to do like an oak tree or something. This is a brush I've never really used before. I think we'll try and use it now. I need a drink of water. Make some brown. Go back in here. There's that black. This isn't going to be a highly detailed one, but I'm going to start here. Maybe I have a tree kind of going over this way. Thinking kind of like an oak tree. Yeah, he does have a great family. Nice and patriotic people who love their country. I'm taking that and I'm gonna. Yeah, this is a watercolor brush. That's what I was thinking it was. Get the little spindly making little branches off. Roots in the sky. Kind of filling out the tree. Well, Thomas, you can always go in the National Guard. And time spent, if you're looking at a career in the military, that time spent in the National Guard does count towards your 20 years. Well, thank you. My channel name is um there should be a subscribe button right on the screen. Okay. Okay. Well, so what kind of things do you do, Thomas, on your channel? I guess I need to go look at your channel. I probably did look at it already. Hmm. Front of a tire drunk, yeah. And all these little happy little branches here. Kind of like a thicket. It's going off in all these different all these different directions. So it now has green leaves on it. Well, you know, the important thing is that when you're just starting out with YouTube is that you have a lot of good time and have good fun. I'm making leaves now. What's Fortnite? Well, that's a game. Fortnite is a game, isn't it? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't play games. I do play games, but they're more like old person games. Some red leaves. Yeah, red leaves over here. And this yellow oxide kind of makes it like a golden color. It's a game like where it's every person for themselves, and then that last person wins. Yeah. You know, when I was 14, Thomas, the computer games was by Cookie 97. The computer games were um, all text, all text-based adventures, and then there was the Atari came out. Then there were arcade games like Space Invaders, Pac-Man, and Donkey Kong, and Mario Brothers. And those were the games of my youth. And there were a lot of other ones too. I don't remember their names. Centipede, I think that was one of them too. All right. I'm going to be wrapping this thing up. Making the leaves. This looks like an old tree up on a hill. Put that. I think I want to add a make it more orangey. More that red. If you're just joining, thank you very much for being here. This is just a tree on a hill. Tree on a hill. Happy trees. Happy trees. Put a few of these over here. Okay. Here's my little happy tree on a hill. I don't think I'm going to add any brushes or shrubs to this one. I'm just going to what am I going to do? I'm going to add some happy birds in there. Happy birds in the sky. And I'm going to use up the rest of this paint doing something random, and then we'll call it a night. So I've been on for an hour and a half. So we got some birds. Some birds coming in. Over here. Over there. Got a few birds over there. Some other ones are just flying in the way, way distance. Just in the distance. Some little birds. Thank you. Thank you for the praise. You're very, very kind. I'm going to do some more on Tuesday afternoon. I think I'm going to do one on Tuesday evening around the same time, around probably like 10 or 11. And then I have my paper mache mistakes that, yeah. So this is the last one here that I'm going to be doing. I need to sign my name on it. So there you go. And then I just got some leftover paint, and I'm just going to take that leftover paint and I'm going to just put it on this paper mache thing that I did, that I've been working on. Look, one of the words in the newspaper was art right there. So you'll want to make sure I don't paint on that. So I'm just going to use up the paint, and I think I want to use a fresh brush. Thank you, and happy Sunday to you. Have a great day tomorrow, playing in the sun and doing, or if you have any farm tasks, maybe you're going to do some farming tasks. So generally you would use, if you were painting paper mache, you would start with primer. Use a primer on it, but as you can see, the paint doesn't really want to go in there very well. I'm going to keep that word, art. This is just an initial coat. I'm going to leave that word. And I'm going to come on down the side. And if you're just joining, this is the 999 ASMR Tarot, and this is Paint Night. And I am Random Chatty Guy, your host. Please like and subscribe if you think the content is worthwhile. If not, that's fine too. And how many times have I said that this evening? I sound like a broken record, don't I? Maybe I better not paint the bottom. I've got this red over here. So what we're doing now is just using up paint on the palette. I'll come back in the next time and then I'll do something else with it. I'm going to keep that word this. And I'm going to take this color to... Oh, no, there went my word. I'm going to wipe that off. What am I going to use? Well, it looks like that word is going to be going away. Maybe it will kind of be able to keep it. Oh well. You know what? It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. As the line, the meatball, there was a movie Meatball. There's one of the lines in it. Bill Murray speaking in terms of sporting events. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Now we're painting over saran wrap. There we go, that word print again. Just using up the paint. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. It's all very random. It's all just random. Random happy chance. Random colors. Random numbers. Random colors spread across this cylinder. One color blends into another color, splits and fractures. Colors on top of colors, colors adding depth, colors split into colors, red, blue, yellow, mixed together, reformed together, can form every color, can form brown, but not white or black colors, random colors. I see colors in front of me. Two colors, three colors. Dr. Seuss on a goose riding on a sleigh with Santa. A goose and Dr. Seuss riding on a sleigh with Santa. Have you ever seen such a sight as that? This looks like a prop in a Star Trek movie. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. It was about whales. Whales from the 20th century. A probe came into the solar system trying to find out why the whales stopped singing. And Captain Kirk, they traveled back in time in a Klingon bird of prey to the year of 1985. Or was it 86? It was something like that. To get whales. To take whales home. To take whales home as they slingshot around the sun. And that probe in the sky, it looked just like this. Except it wasn't this colored. But it looked just like this. This probe in the sky, calling down, asking for where did the whales go? Where did the whales go? The whales went extinct in the 23rd century, which is why the probe came knocking, asking, where were the whales? Did you ever see that movie, Star Trek 4? The Voyage Home. It was just after Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. In Star Trek 3, was right after Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, where Spock died. And Leonard Nimoy was thinking that he wanted to do something other than Star Trek, but that didn't happen. They killed Spock off, but then they brought him back in Star Trek 3. And his memory was trapped in Dr. McCoy's head. And so they had to get it back out of there, and they did so on the planet Vulcan. And then while they were there, that was in Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, and that's when the incident of the whales occurred. Star Trek 5, I think, was their worst movie they ever produced. And I think that one was The Search for God, or I don't remember. It was terrible. I didn't watch that one 20 times like I watched all the others. Wrath of Khan and the motion picture I didn't see that many times either. But I remember seeing the motion picture when I was an elementary age kid. I saw it at a theater called the Elsinore in Salem, I waited around the block to get in. And I think another movie that came out that same year was Chariots of Fire, and that was about Eric Liddell, a runner, and that was a great film. I need to see that film again. I will see that film again, maybe even tonight when I end this stream. Just as soon as I feel like all this paint is done in this random paint job, from random Chaty guy, and that's who I am tonight. We finished up painting trees, and we did art, and that's what this is. Just relaxing old art, ASMR art with a Chaty guy. Chaty ASMR. And if you're watching this on the replay, I should have said this up front. Feel free to speed it up, to speed up the show. Watch it on fast time, and don't forget to like and sub. Become a subscriber if you think this content is worth it. If you think it is worth it, please support me with a sub to help me get to that 1,000 mark, and like the video to help the algorithm, to help push it out further. And this video will go public in about 20 minutes from now, because I'm going to call it a night. My hands are all painted up. These nice colors like that. Nice colors. And I want to thank everyone who engaged in the chat with me tonight. TSR Games, Cookie 97, and all the others. Cookie 97. Let's see, who else was there? Casey Turp, in TSR Games, and X Shade. Thank you for the comment. Thank you. You people are all, very kind and too kind. And Dark Uncle 77, thank you very much. And I've been shaking the camera here. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Paint Night on the 999 ASMR Tarot channel. We started this at 10:01, and 10:01 is an angel number. An angel number that if you see that number over and over and over and over and over again, it is the angels whispering into your ear that you need to concentrate on the light of God, the light of the source of life, and come into a place, into yourself, to listen in the silence, to listen and learn who you are and what your place is in this realm, what your purpose is, to work towards your purpose. And that is sort of what 10:01 means. Enlightenment, spirituality, spiritual purpose. Purpose. And we all have a purpose here. We all have a job to do. We came here, we're born into this realm to do a job. And sometimes it takes a while to figure out what the job is, and sometimes you never do. And that's okay. Because maybe that job was as simple as holding somebody's hand, caring for another, giving of yourself for another individual. Being there for someone, raising children, having children, raising children, and being a generally kind person. Trying to be peaceable. I mean, it's hard work being peaceable. And we need peace in this world. Right now, everything just seems like such a storm. This, all that divisiveness that is driving, especially if you live here in the USA, that divisiveness that is just tearing at the seams of this nation. And it shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't be that way. We need to spend time in looking inside as to why. Why are we spending so much energy on that, on anger? On anger towards your brother and your sister? Why? Why do we do it? Why are those things that we dislike about others so important that we consume ourselves with that energy? And that energy is just so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. So, I know don't live a perfect life, but I try. I try. I've sacrificed my income in order to care for my elderly mother, so she doesn't have to go into a home that she cannot afford to live in. And that's what I'm doing right now. Other than just blathering into the wind, chatting into the wind about these thoughts that just came into my mind today, right now. And I am sharing them with you, sharing them. I don't know if these thoughts are valuable or not, but something in me says that they are important, that someone out there needs to know that there is other ways to navigate ourselves in this world, that we can navigate ourselves with kindness instead of division. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you like my art, if you like this small amount of tarot content that I have in long play videos, or the Sunday Write Labs where I use tarot as a prompt for writing poems. Well, and I'm going to call it a night. Good night, and we'll see you the next time. And this is Random Chatty Guy on the 999 ASMR Tarot Paint Night Show, signing off.